Thanks so much for being with us on the Texas Wealth Report. I'm Brad Johansson with Summer Roberts of Impact Partners Financial. How are you today?
Great to be here.
It's always good to be here. Let's build a house today. What
Let's
do you,
do
what do
it.
you say?
I love
I
building
mean, I know it's ambitious, but I think in a half an hour, we're going to help you guys build a house. Let's talk about a fiscal house. When we're building a house, don't we usually start with foundation?
Absolutely.
All right, so what's our foundation in building a fiscal house? Because I want to kind of get into market volatility and where we are. Because we've had a pretty decent ride for now. And if we're building a fiscal house on market volatility, we're probably in a little bit of danger. Give me a start as to where you want to begin building.
Well, I have to tell you a story.
Oh, okay. I like stories.
So, my hometown, Biloxi, Mississippi.
Biloxi, Mississippi.
Oh, yeah. I happened to go visit my family one weekend when this little storm came through named Hurricane Katrina.
Ba-boom.
Yes. Everything was completely wiped away. Not destroyed, not damaged, just
Almost
gone.
erased from the map.
Correct. I mean, I'm talking about historical things that have been
yeah.
there forever. So I remember after that storm, my sister and I happened to be in town visiting that weekend. Go figure.
Nice timing.
Yeah, right. So after 14 hours of being stuck in the house, after the storm, we came out and she and I decided we wanted to go see what had happened, right? We had no idea. We were stuck in the house the whole time. And thank goodness we were protected and fine. So we found some little kid bicycles down the street. So we began riding them down the street. We were heading along the beach frontage road in Biloxi. And it just was silent. And
Eerie silent.
I will never forget that day. And I hear this just weird sound. And I look behind me, my sister, and she's just bawling tears. And at that moment, I realized I was bawling tears too, because literally everything we had ever known our entire lives was just vanished, gone, erased from the map. But you know what was there? Foundations. The foundations were there. So if those families wanted to rebuild, they certainly could. And when you're building your fiscal house, that's your foundation. Your foundation, that's the safe money, the money that you know is going to be there. When a hurricane comes, that's going to be rock solid. And that's what you have to lay first. When you're building any house, you have to lay the foundation first, right?
What's in the foundation of our fiscal house?
So in the foundation is going to be things that are protected or have some guarantees backing them up. But they also need to make some money, right? You can't have the protection and guarantees and make 0.0085%.
Right.
I put that in the tree in the backyard.
Okay.
This money needs to earn something, a decent rate of return.
We're still accumulating.
Right, correct. So that's going to be, CDs right now are paying okay. There's different market-linked CDs. There's annuities and different insurance products that can all achieve that. So that's what belongs in that foundation.
Give me an idea if we're doing that. So now we've got the foundation. We need to rebuild the walls. What's in the walls?
Right. So after you have your solid foundation, nail that down first, because you can't build a house without it. So nail that down first, and then we put up the walls. That's going to be your lower and moderate risk type investments, right?
Okay.
So think about it, liken it to a hurricane. When a hurricane does come around, because we get them a lot in Houston, your walls can crack, they can crumble, they can get flooded, but it takes a heck of a storm to completely crash down your walls,
okay.
Right? So that's the same with low and moderate risk type investments. They can take a really good beating before they just crumble, right?
Okay.
So that's your walls. That's the makeup of your walls.
Okay,
And
so I got the foundation, I've got the walls. Do I have anything in the roof?
yeah, we got to have a roof. Now, some of my clients don't want a roof, but you know, it's never a bad idea to have something in the roof. So your roof, when a hurricane comes, what's the first thing damaged?
The roof.
The roof, right? So the roof is where your more aggressive, higher risk investments reside.
Because you're okay if some of the tiles come off the roof.
Yes, yes. And we want to limit that exposure, of course, but you know, when a market storm comes, that's the first thing that gets damaged, right? You feel that pain first. So we want to limit how much is in the roof. But the point here is if we have a solid foundation and we have nice, sturdy, strong walls, and then we've got a roof, you know, that can be your fun money. That's your more aggressive fun money if you want. The point is we've got to allocate your assets properly within the house. The question is not what mutual fund should I buy or what stock should I be in. The question is where does what you have lie within the house? What do you have in the foundation? How strong is your foundation? What do you have that belongs in the walls? Do you have enough in the walls? And then what does your roof look like? Is your roof too big? Because if your roof's too big, the next storm that comes, your house is flying down the road. So
you may be talking a different language to a lot of people because, I mean, I know them. There are a lot of people who go, house, I've got all my money in the market right now, and I'm diversified. I've got stuff in. Well, how do you know that? This then comes back to, well, I'm pretty risk tolerant, right? Oh, you are. Oh, you're risk tolerant. But do you know your risk capacity? This all comes back to that hurricane as to, all right, how much are you tolerant with as opposed to what can you lose? What's your capacity? And that's in building this entire house, which you cannot do without an architect, like Summer Roberts.
correct.
I mean, that's building the plan, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know, it's one thing to, I always ask people how much money, how many dollars are you okay with losing 200,000? Are you okay with losing 500,000? Where is your threshold? When you put it more in dollars than percentages,
Yeah.
it just means more, I feel like, because it's dollars that are lost in a market loss, right? It's not percentages.
It's real money.
It's real dollars.
Yeah. And this is something that you're trying to stress in building the house. When people come in, is this part of the wealth report?
Absolutely. So the first step is we have to have a baseline, right? So we have to take your current investment strategies and let's put them in the house. Let's see where they belong. Let's see what your house looks like. You may be top heavy. You may not even have a foundation at all. Your walls might be too big and thick. We have to see where does each investment lie within the house. Once we see what your house looks like, then we can make a proposal on what we think that your house should look like.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, all of us would love a new house. And we'd love a new house that makes it last till our dying day. The house that we want to live in, that makes us comfy, that feels like home. And so building that fiscal house is something that may not have even been a part of the language of anybody that's been dealing with your finances. So it may be time for a second opinion. Maybe time for a new architect. It may be time for a plan. And a lot of that is in here. Summer's book, Retire with Impact. If you'd like this, it's free as you come in for an appointment. And that appointment is free. To get your Texas Wealth Report to build your fiscal house so that it will last beyond hurricane, beyond the storms, beyond the test of time. 866-254-8026. Let's help you build your fiscal house.
I started in this business as a family company. As much as I love my family and as great as it is, I just needed to kind of blaze my own path. And so when I sat down and talked to my team about it, we decided that our name needs to reflect our core values. So our mission is to make a dramatic and lasting impact. I think it captures our firm, our culture, our mission, much more than a family name. And I'm trying to build something for the future and for others. It's not about me. We've got an amazing team that come in every day, and their sole goal is to see how they can make an impact on somebody's life that day. They're pretty incredible.
So glad you're with us on the Texas Wealth Report. I'm Brad Johansson with Summer Roberts of Impact Partners Financial. We're glad you're with us. We're talking about building a fiscal house here today and creating the foundation, which probably takes us into income planning. I saw a statistic recently that is alarming for a lot of people, that 1 out of every 4 households in America are using Social Security as 90% of their income, and it's not working. Because the income plan is, okay, when I'm done retiring, I don't really have an income situation, I'm just going to use my Social Security. And it hasn't worked for a lot of people because it hasn't been a plan, and the number wasn't their number, as we've talked about before, because you got a partner in the government in that as well. Take me into income planning as we're working on the foundation of our fiscal house.
Yeah, so when we're doing income planning, we can think of it as the proverbial 3-legged stool, right? So in retirement, your income should come from a few places. The first leg is Social Security.
Okay.
Right? And we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But Social Security and then a pension, if you should be so lucky as to have one.
Which many do in your area.
Yes, a lot do, thank goodness, but not all. And then the third leg, that was your responsibility, right? You were supposed to save, whether it was a 401k, a 403b, a TSP, whatever your retirement plan was. That was your responsibility.
Okay.
So ideally, the old way of thinking is we take income from Social Security, pension, and then we just take money out of our retirement plan. So a couple things. First of all, you were talking about Social Security. One thing I wanted to mention to you is that, and I get terribly uncomfortable when people are relying on Social Security for income and retirement, just because it's so insecure
right now, yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, and the latest word is that it's going to run out. It was 33. Now it's even been pushed back that it's probably going to run out 32, maybe even adjusted to 31 with the amount of debt that our government's in right now.
Right. And I mean, there are ways that they can fix it and continue to keep it funded for a while, but they have to make those changes and they have to agree on those changes in order to make that happen. And I think they'll only be able to pay at that time 76 cents on the dollar.
Right.
But I mean, think about it, because a lot of people tell me, well, I just want to take it as early as possible. I'm just going to take it at 62 because what if they take it away? Well,
what's the problem taking it early? Because a bunch of people are saying, I'll take it early and I'm going to continue to work. There's a problem with that.
That's a huge problem.
Why?
Well, first of all, if you take it at 62, you get a smaller amount, right? If you wait, your amount goes larger.
Correct.
So if they do reduce it, this one's still bigger, right? But more importantly is the penalties involved. A lot of people don't realize if you take Social Security prior to your full retirement age, which for a lot of people it's 66 or 66 and 8 months or 67, it's different for everyone. But if you take Social Security before that time frame, you're going to pay a heavy penalty if you have earned income. So if you take it and you continue to work, I mean, goodness, depending on what tax bracket you're in, because you have to pay taxes too, you could lose 85 to 95% of that. So why on earth would you want to do that? Just delay it a few years and keep working if you want to keep working, right?
So the income plan has to be well beyond what I said 1 out of 4 every American household is doing right now. How do you build the income plan? I mean, because income is the outcome, and building that engine is what you need for your foundation, correct?
So when we're building any income plan, we want to optimize Social Security. We want to optimize a pension if there is one, make the best decisions there. And then we want to continue with the house that we built. Preferably, in a perfect world, our income will come from the foundation. Remember, the foundation is the safe and secure money. So if we're taking income from our foundation, then we can sleep at night having a peace of mind that that income is coming in. Like my dad said, the check's in the mailbox, right?
Yeah.
So, but if we choose to take income from the roof, let's say, that's going to be your higher risk, more aggressive investments. So what's that doing? We know we can make one prediction about the market, right?
Okay.
It will go up and down and up and down and up and down.
Constant.
Right? So we don't know when or how much, but if your income is based on that, then you're happy taking your income here. And then when it makes a correction or even potentially crashes, then what? Do you take less income? No, you can't. The bills are still the same, right? So you still have to, so now you're taking a larger percentage of an amount that's going down. So it'll take you a lot longer to climb out of that hill. So what I find is what people could potentially afford to do when they were in their accumulation phase, working, saving,
Right.
Accumulating money, what they could afford to do then is not necessarily what they can afford to do during the distribution phase where you're retired and now you're taking money out.
This kind of goes back to that roller coaster story that I have, because growing up, grew up with an area by Kings Island, which has a roller coaster that is famous called the Beast, which is kind of something we've talked about on this show before as well. The Beast is a rickety old wooden roller coaster that when you're young, you can't wait to get on, get off, I'll get back on, do another car, and I can ride all day long. You put me on the Beast right now, I'm walking like I'm barely alive. Now, the Beast didn't change, but my tolerance changed and my capacity changed. This is what we're talking about in the market volatility of going up and down. When you're in the accumulation phase, you can take a lot more of the ride. And right now, you can't be taking stuff off the roof because there's not enough time to make up what you may lose in the market.
Yeah, and I mean, frankly, most people, do they really want to? I mean, they've worked hard for all
Heck
these
yeah.
years, saving all this money. Do you really want to give it back and then have to remake it again?
No. I mean, the answer is pretty simple, right?
Everybody's different, but I would think that most people that we see, they don't want to give back their money. They've worked too hard for too long, and they're ready to start planning. It's never too late, right? It's never too late to have a plan. But I will tell you, the people that come in and tell me, man, I wish I would have come in and seen you guys sooner. Those always hit home because I wish that too. I wish I could have met them sooner.
Are you one of those people? Gosh, I probably should have called the last time I saw your show. I probably should have called when somebody told me about this. I'm too afraid to do it because a lot of times there's fear involved in doing this. I haven't saved enough. I haven't done it right. I haven't planned well. I haven't built a very good fiscal house. I'm a little embarrassed about it. Summer just told you, it's never too late, but now is the most important time. Would you like a copy of the book, Retire with Impact. It's yours free with a visit. And a visit helps you plan your fiscal house. We'll put it together in the Texas Wealth Report. Don't wait any longer. I wish I would have called. Answer that. Call now. 866-254-8026.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
Thanks so much for being with us on the Texas Wealth Report. I'm Brad Johansson with Summer Roberts, Impact Partners Financial. We're talking about building the fiscal house, and there's a lot that goes into it, and you can add things into the fiscal house as well. But there are also things that are detractions that come out that we didn't realize were going to be in that plan, that architecture that was going through. One of those things may be RMDs, and people go, what are you talking about? Required minimum distribution, that you now are forced to. Can you take us through RMDs as we're building a fiscal house and what may be taken out of our house as we're getting into the later years?
Yeah, so the fun thing about the RMD.
You got a fun thing about an RMD? All right.
No fun things about RMDs. So a lot of people ask, what is an RMD, a required minimum distribution? That comes out of the money that you have put in pre-tax, right? So that's going to be most retirement plans, your 401k, IRA, 403b, TSP, TSA, 457, all the money that you've deferred those taxes, right?
Okay.
So even if you don't need that money, first of all, congratulations. But even if you don't need that money, eventually, once you turn a certain age, it used to be much easier, but now they've changed it so many times.
Well, they went to 70 and 73, and for a lot of people, it won't be till they're 75.
75, yes.
And people go, well, that's nice of the government. The government doesn't do nice things. They're trying to let your investments build for more taxes, correct?
Absolutely, because right now it's growing compounding, what I call triple compounding interest, tax deferred and compounded interest. So it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and that pot's getting bigger. And eventually, once you turn of the required age, the IRS will force you whether you need the money or not. The IRS, Uncle Sam, is going to force you to pull that money out. Why? Because they want their tax money, right? They want their tax money. And eventually, over time, that percentage of how much you have to draw goes higher and higher and higher each and every year, right? So your balance is dwindling, perhaps. So that's more and more taxes. So that's got to be taken into consideration when you're building any fiscal house or any income plan.
This is a part of that tax plan. When we talk about hidden tax debt, the RMDs end up being within that as well. And if you're not planning on taxes right now, we come back to it constantly. And it can't be overstated that we're in a known situation now that is the third best tax bracket in history. And if people are in a situation where they say, I want to pay as few taxes as I possibly can, you've got till December 31st, 2025. We don't know what will happen after that, but the anticipation is it will only get worse.
Absolutely.
So what can I do now in the next year and a half that's logical for me?
So, excuse me. So what I would recommend is we do a tax conversion analysis. Let's first and foremost see if it's in your best interest. Excuse me. I ran, to give you an example, ran a plan just last week. This couple had $500,000 in their IRA.
Okay.
They didn't need that money. We had their income nailed down. We had their income plan nailed down. This was additional money that they hadn't really planned on touching except for fun money, right? So I said, let's see what that looks like doing a conversion analysis. So we ran the tax analysis, and on that $500,000, it was somewhere around the lines of $314,000 was going to end up being eaten away by
Oh, my
taxes.
goodness.
Now, there's tax brackets and rates of return taken into consideration there, but that's dramatic. But if we were to do a conversion on that money, they'd pay approximately $127,000 in taxes.
Less than half of what it was before.
Yeah, so if you have a choice between handing Uncle Sam $127,000 or $314,000, what are you going to choose?
The answer's pretty easy. And the only reason that's a possibility is they came in for a plan to go through it all with Summer. It's what you need to do as well. Don't wait any longer. I know you want to build a fiscal house that stands the test of time, that is your home, that helps last into and through retirement. Texas Wealth Report is done for you for free. The book, Retire with Impact, is free with a visit. And what is also free, which is probably more important than any of this, is peace of mind, to feel like you've done it right, like you have a chance to do it the one time that you get to do it. Retirement is just once. Let's do it right. Let's help you do it. 866-254-8026. So glad you joined us. See you in the office, and see you next time.